there's something out of alignment and you're not getting a good flash, you may have difficulty in igniting 2F powder. Whereas under the same conditions, if it was 3F, bang, everything goes. We recommend, the Color Guard sells to their people more frequently than not 3F. What I have taken to doing is 2F because I honestly think for the amount of powder, 2F is producing a bigger bang than the same amount of powder, and the guy next to me has the same amount of powder, but it's 3F. I think my bang is bigger. And that's what we're going for.
That is important.
Right. So all I'm saying is my cartridges, I try to mark them one way or another with how they were loaded because, you know, now we've gone over a winter here and we'll have forgotten what it is that's in the cartridge box.
Now, I got a question. Once you have taken it out of the container and put it into a paper cartridge, does that have a shelf life?
No. No. One of the things...
Good question, because I wanted to get moist.
Right. One of the things that I recently read is, now you'll see in my own kit right here, I keep these desiccant things right here. I've learned after I bought
that's
these
the thing that dry.
that sucks up moisture.
Yeah, okay.
Just to keep things dry. I've since read that black powder is not hygroscopic. It does not suck moisture out of the air. However, it has changed chemically after it has been ignited. And that's why you get all this rust issue. See, people are thinking, well, my gun is rusty, it's because of the black powder. Black powder is therefore hygroscopic. And apparently that is true after it has ignited.
Then it absorbs the moisture.
Now it's sucking in water from everywhere.
Saltpeter turns to phosphoric acid.
There's a scientist. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But black powder in the can is not hygroscopic, so you don't have the shelf life matter. As far as I know, there is no shelf life.
Caleb's issue was the frizzen, I believe.
Right,
That was not the black.
right. If somehow your cartridge gets wet, that might be different, but it's not
Maybe
gonna.
yours did get where mine did.
Right,
get wet,
it's
yeah.
not itself drawing moisture out of the air. My son has a motorboat and he fills up his tank, it becomes a very big issue because gasoline draws moisture. It's not an issue for automobile owners, you don't worry because you burn your gasoline so quick. But my son will have his boat stored with 50 gallons of
That's because
gasoline.
of the ethanol they use in the
Right.
world. Yeah, that makes it worse.
It sits in a yard over the winter, 50 gallons of gas has gone bad. It's sucking in moisture, and now it's all filled with water, and it's a different beast altogether. That doesn't really apply
Reminds me of my generator and my snowblower.
to, that's right.
You put that yellows, you get
Put the treatment in
you
it.
put the treatment in, and then you're, yeah.
You're okay.
So, what we're gonna do is make cartridges.
Yeah, I've seen it online where you know, people are always trying to sort things, so I've seen like the pre-cut paper already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they even go to the extent where they have reprints of 1700s era newspapers.
I love it, I
Where
love
they
it.
pre-cut, you know.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, to go real original.
Right. So what I've done is, this is the paper that I use, just
Now the little pattern here.
In fact, these Zeemers, father, son, they buy.
You've got this
pre-made, They buy the pre-made paper packaging.
Right.
He's got 14,000 pounds of personal goods that they ship from Hawaii, and it's all packed in paper.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Scott, it's funny you say that, Scott. I'm still using my moving paper when we moved here from California 5-6 years. I'm using the moving paper that I said, oh, it looks like the same material.
There's
Yeah, that's what it
the
is.
most important
Is this
feature.
newsprint?
This is packing paper that
Yeah.
I bought at Walmart. Duck brand. In fact, they're on my page of links here. I like this guy's video. These are
cool.
links to YouTube videos. This guy shows you how to roll a cartridge, and he shows you the paper, and that's actually where I came up with this, from this video. Duck brand packing paper. But this is an example of the weight of paper that you should use. I've seen newsprint. I mean, there's all kinds of things. You can
Gothia used newsprint, didn't he?
Right,
He
right.
used the comic pages. A little more colorful package.
Yeah, you know what, the measurements really don't matter as far as I'm concerned. It's the shape. The shape of the final product really is what matters, and it's gonna be this trapezoid with the long end on the bottom, shorter vertical, and I guess this is the longest dimension here, and 2.5 inches or so on this. You'll see that to roll these tubes, and what I'll do, I fashion this block. I think it's 40 holes in it, and I'll do a bundle of cartridges at once. Fill every hole with a final product. You'll see that the important thing is the wrap. You have this spiral wrap. And the reason that is important is when you fold it over, now you have a place to tuck into, right? To have the final cartridge look like that, right? You have your tongue that can then be tucked in. This is the way they did it. This is exactly the way it was done in the day. So,
And it just takes practice, right, Bob? And you just
yeah, you will
You
learn.
just got to, the first few are going to be all, like rolling joints, you know? First few are going to be a little,
No idea what you're talking about.
Right. I do have some templates here. But as I said,
That was good stuff, huh? I know, I'm kidding.
the actual measurements are different than what you have on yours. I don't think the measurements are really that significant. They don't matter that much. It is the shape that we're going for.
And it actually might be the one like you gave me, I think, a print of one that I still
Right.
have.
Yeah.
It may be a little big because we're
Yeah.
not putting the ball in there.
Right.
There may be a little too much.
That's true.
Now, Robert, when I was online and I was just kind of familiarizing myself a little bit, so I wasn't totally cold coming in here. One of the things I also saw, they had kits where they actually had like a wood dowel that you could use
Right.
and roll this with. Am I just getting ahead of
No,
you?
Yep.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yep.
Okay,
The
okay.
dowel with the bevel in there, right? You gotta get the.
So, what
Good
Joe
segue,
Gothier did with newspaper is not a problem. What I had a problem with was he used Scotch tape. He was Scotch taping everything, so you end up with this contraption that's put together with Scotch tape. And no, you don't want Scotch tape.
And I'll concur with that because I used tape in I do still do in the bottom, but I had them elsewhere. When you go to rip the thing off in your mouth on the bridge, and you got a piece of 3M tape, it
Right.
further inhibits
Right.
getting the bloody thing in there. So
Correct.
don't have any tape on the top of it all, maybe the bottom.
Scotch tape is
So
not.
Bob's gonna show you the way to go.
It is not a part of it. Even what I'm doing isn't authentic.
Glue stick?
A glue stick. Really,
Henry
they
Knox
were
did-
doing.
Henry Knox
no-
didn't have one of those in his top pocket?
Right, they weren't using any adhesive at all, and they were using twine to tie it off.
They were not.
They were.
They were, yeah, yeah. That's,
But that, I've tried to do it.
I thought the twine came,
I tried to
later.
do some rolling with the twine, and I managed to do it, but it took like 20 minutes to make one.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it Raphael? What are they, is it
Forget
Raphael
it.
they're using? Is it Raphael or is it?
Right, I'm sure that ultimately I could speed it up, but it's not gonna be anywhere near as quick as this. So the dowel, yes, is a part of the process. And I believe, I think I started off with 3/4 inch, which was too big. What you want is a dowel that is smaller than the hole in your cartridge box,
That's like, yeah.
right? So you get as large as will fit, but will in fact fit. And in my case, I bought a 3/4 inch, 4 feet of 3/4 inch dowel, and it wouldn't go in, and therefore your cartridges are no good. So I went down to the 5/8, I think that's 5/8. I further then cupped one end, because I do from time to time shoot the lead ball, and the cup is to hold the lead ball. Right, so one end is cupped and the other is not. I did this just with a hand drill, you know, and like 3/8 inch drill bit or something. I just cupped
Mine
it
took
out.
me forever because I think mine was made of composite. That's real.
Oh yeah, use a hardwood.
I had a-
I mean,
I had a
that
hard
was it.
time getting my, but it's also ball or not, that also is good too, as you'll explain.
Right.
When you do when you start putting the piece
So-
in it, yeah.
Correct.
Ball or no ball.
So we have our template. Now, I'm left-handed. I might be the only left-handed person here. So you righties might be doing it the other way. But what I do is pointy side up, lay the dowel right here with some empty space. You're welcome to get up and
On the
watch
beveled
this.
end, right? The beveled end is on the right.
Right. So,
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, just if you go, move to your left a little bit.
Hey, Brad, come on, Brad, come over here.
There we go.
so the dowel is on the bottom of the paper. I did not glue anything. That's what you want to do. Now, what I have done is thinking ahead, I need a place to tuck my tongue into the cartridge, and I have learned that that spot is somewhere in the middle up here. So with the glue stick, I glue everything but a little notch up there on the vertical, or on the long end. So glue stick on two sides. You don't want to do the bottom because you will gunk up your piece of wood, and the next one cartridge you roll will be stuck to the paper. You don't want that to happen. That's too much overlap. There's probably, looks like half an inch maybe. So roll it tight, right? So that's glued. There is a spot that's right about here that is the unglued section. You will collapse at the bottom. That's where I have the dimple,
The dimple, that's it, the dimple. It's called the dimple.
right? You add some glue stick there.
And that's a good point. Glue or a little bit of tape. You want
Don't
yeah,
use
don't
tape.
use tape, but you don't want the black powder coming out.
No.
They do loosen up over time. And
With the glue stick, I have found that it does not.
it does, and that's, I'm gonna go to that, but you don't, it's the day of the event comes and you don't want black powder coming out
So
of that
now we have
bottom.
sealed the
That's
bottom. You pull the dowel out, and there's another one. So the first the first thing you've got to cut up all of your pieces. So you have a big sheet, you cut that into your squares, then you have to cut your diagonals. If you have a paper cutter, you could make thousands of these in an hour. So
What
I
kind of paper
would,
did you use, Bob?
what's that?
What kind of paper did you use?
This is packing paper that you'd see in a shipping department. But this particular paper was recommended by, if you watch this video at the top,
Uh-huh.
and I found it. They had exactly what he was talking about at Walmart. And I have a lifetime supply. I mean, I've got so much of this paper, it's ridiculous. So you make all of your tubes, you want to set it up in a manufacturer. You're going to be doing many of these. You've got all of your tubes created. And right, where is this? So this flask, I think, was Track of the Wolf,
It was one of the, yep, from Joe Gauthier, yep.
right? Does everybody have this? You'll need a flask.
Well, you've got,
You will need a measure because you need to know.
I just use this,
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, that, yeah, that's
I just use a funnel and I pour the
Okay.
I pour the 2F right in there,
absolutely,
fill it
yeah.
up to what I want, and then I put it in
Okay.
the cartridge, and then I put
What I find, there's not, if you're doing this in your kitchen, you don't want to be spilling black powder all over the kitchen floor. What I find
For the
is,
cat to lick up?
I don't spill.
right, what I find is, this is actually pretty neat.
Convenient, I mean, it's
It
gotta
is.
be, you gotta jig it sometimes to get it, but it,
You
I've
load
done your way
this,
too, Jim. I
fill
do that
this
too,
all
I
the
only
way
make a
up with
few.
black powder, and you might get 10 cartridges out of a full one of these. The whole concept here is you got a plunger, all right? I'm going to want to use, let's say, this is marked 120 grains of powder.
Is that typically what you use, 120 grains? Because I see there's different
Right.
charges.
You can measure,
About 125.
yeah, is that what max is,
I've used
125?
I've used up to 140.
I think you guys talked about 110 or 120.
The SAR, also on here, incidentally, and everybody should do this. The SAR Color Guardsman, that's the national publication. It's only online, it's only a PDF file. You can't, they don't mail it out, you've got to go get it. It's not available in print, so you have to go to that link, and the latest version just came out. They have formal recommendations from National in there. I think National wants, everybody is supposed to use 100 grains of powder.
I thought, yeah, no, they don't
The
want you to
National
do-
Park Service, when they give
Yeah.
us powder, it's not even 100 grains.
And you'll notice, as we know over the years now, it's more fun our way with 125,
Right,
with
right.
140.
140.
Yeah, I do like a buck.
I don't want to make recommendations, but I will say that it is, as long as you're not shooting a projectile, we're not getting into a danger situation for the operator. Now, it should be considered that we're putting out, when we have overcharged the weapon and fire it, and you'll see it in photographs. You don't always see it.
Being flamed.
Yeah, you don't always see it with your naked eye, because it happens quick. But you'll see in
Flame throwing.
photos,
Yeah, exactly.
flames coming out of the end. And my favorite story is, I was with Jack Cunningham and John Zaveris at the granary. We did a grave marking ceremony at the granary, and later went to King's Chapel. This was totally
And you're surrounded by brick buildings.
off the record. Right, this was not a part of that ceremony. we had no permission to do that event, let alone this one. We marched over to, right,
Like
yeah, the
that?
flame.
Yeah.
We went to King's Chapel and we found a Jack Cunningham ancestor that we were gonna dedicate his grave. And it was the three of us firing, and I had a misfire. So we did a second round. I did not dump. I just loaded a second charge on
Because you know what you're
Top
doing.
of it?
on top of it. And this time it fired. And John Zaveris swore, like 20 feet away, oak tree. The leaves on the oak tree started burning. We shouldn't be laughing, but I mean, we could have caused some serious damage.
Imagine you made a fire.
So,
Mayor
an
Walsh would like
overly
that.
overcharged weapon is expelling a lot of waste material. So I think that it certainly, there is more bang going on, but a lot of what's happening with the extra powder is it's being thrown out of the barrel. And what literally happens.
Ignites on the way.
Right, so you've got black powder that has been thrown out of the barrel, and it then gets ignited out here.
I didn't even think of that. That's what
Right.
that is.
So there's there's no
Because
sound
oxygen's
being
hitting it and
emitted
everything,
there.
yeah. So the oxygen's hitting it, Mr. Scientist Brad,
Right.
right? The O2's getting it and the
But
flame and.
when we're thinking in terms of
Catch
marching in a parade, or when there's spectators,
Yeah.
you know, we're causing an additional liability here by overcharged weapons. And National wants us to use 100 grains of powder, and there's good reason.
And that's what we do,
So
and that's what we do.
specifically-
That's right.
Okay,
And that's
the
what we
things
do.
are holding your hand. What do they call that?
Well, this, I think, is only called a flask. This is simple flask. And this is a measure. And I don't think they come any bigger than this. So if you want to do 140 grains, that means you're measuring twice.
I think you're,
Years ago.
I
No, I
think you're
think they
right.
did. I think there was 180 I saw on the
Really?
website, I
What
believe.
does yours go to?
Because I got a 120.
It goes up to 200.
Oh, 200.
Really?
That's what it was,
It
200.
goes up to 200.
Wow, where'd you get that?
Yeah, try to-
So
yeah.
Bob, when you and I got them, the other guys, they came, remember, came together.
Right.
Joe had the recommendation. So
Blunderbuss.
Jim, I think yours is probably you can buy one like Jim's, which has got more, and then it'll fit in there, I'm sure.
Right.
But when you and I bought them, we had them come together in the box. The,
So
package.
flask filled with black powder, measure, you dialed in what it is you're trying to put into your cartridge. That goes in here.
Okay.
You then turn it upside down.
It just drops in.
Shake, shake, shake.
Well, no, yep. You use the plunger, and you'll find, I don't know why, but in my case, I'm tapping.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know,
Sometimes it doesn't like just. go
yeah,
in
you'll look and
cleanly.
you'll only be half full.
I was gonna say, the F2 powder being as chunky as is, it
And I've
would
done
Right.
it too.
bridge up in there.
Right, so there's some tapping that goes on. So you fill this up to the top, and you've got your 125 grains,
Yeah, it fills up in here.
then you dump it in. So that you know,
Take that off.
you should always be cognizant of what volume and what granular size you are filling. And that's why I mark my cartridges. I'll put